I'm Courtney.
And I'm Emily. And this is
Cheers to that. Tink, tink, tink. We're back.
We're back.
We skipped another week because parenting is rough.
And it just like snuck up on us. Like all of a sudden it was Tuesday night and I was like, Courtney, we haven't recorded anything.
I know. Well, and I was out of town. I'm trying to blame it on the kids, but like I was out of town last weekend and then it just like.
You really are trying to blame it on the kids, and it was actually all you and Matt because you were out of town and then you were sick.
Yes, I was.
So
I know.
It's
all my
children
fault.
Need to be vindicated because you're trying to blame them.
It wasn't your fault.
If you're listening back, it was your mom's fault.
Yes.
And your dad's fault. Mostly your dad's fault, honestly, for getting a stomach virus.
Yeah, no, that was the worst. That is not a good place to be in life. I just feel like it's just been a weird couple of weeks because we've been so freaking busy.
It's just a busy time of year.
Yeah,
every year.
It is. Yes.
Always.
And I'm thinking like, because we started this in the spring, right? Mm-hmm. And I feel like maybe because we were like going into summer, I just feel like we had more time. And then now, even though like I have a lot easier job now, just our lives have been busy.
I feel like what's hardest isn't coordinating around jobs, it's coordinating with the kids. Mm-hmm. Like finding where we can fit in recording time where it's like somewhat quiet.
Yes.
And like having a babysitter is great. But it's also not the same as like the kids being with their dads because they can be like, shut up. And,
and it's also not preferable. Like, I mean, I love our babysitters, but like, I'd rather, have free childcare with the husbands versus having to pay somebody so we can record.
Yeah.
And even though it's so cheap, like it's not that, it's just the premise that we have to.
Well, I more think like babysitters are going to be less aggressive with keeping them quiet, and then I can hear them in the back of episodes, and it makes me want to freak out.
Oh.
And then when the dads are here, it's like go into a closet and be quiet.
Yes.
Shut up, kids. And that I
give
appreciate.
A little elbow.
Yeah, I'm like, go night. So Connor's got Fielding in the living room, so you may still hear some coughing in the background.
You saying go night just reminds me that so I came over the other day, or I was on FaceTime, probably both, and Fielding, he's getting his milk, and you're like, I swear he does not take Benadryl. Like,
so embarrassing.
No, it's not embarrassing. It's hilarious because toddlers do the weirdest things, and it's not like you're giving your kid Benadryl, but he keeps going. He doesn't even like medicine. He keeps going to your medicine drawer, getting out the kid's Benadryl and like begging to have you put it in. And you're like, no, like you don't have allergies. I'm not giving you Benadryl.
Yeah, like when he does have like if he's congested or sneezing all day, like of course I'm going to give you Benadryl at night because like
they need something for relief.
A little Benadryl is not going to kill anybody.
No,
like I'm not trying to give it to him all the time to like make him sleepy. It's like if you're congested during the day, especially this time of year, like I will also take a Benadryl.
For sure. Yes.
It's not a big deal. But for some reason
they get obsessed over certain things.
If you were to be here without me and you saw my child going into a drawer, which obviously I need to move these things because the fact that he can reach into the drawer and grab them is ridiculous. But he goes in and literally grabs the Benadryl out and a syringe. And then I'll be like,
Mom, drug me up.
Mom. I'm like, no.
It's just so funny because they get obsessed over the weirdest things.
He's done it like 3 times when we've been on FaceTime. Like it's happened a lot. And you're like, Emily.
I know.
Do you have to tell me something? No.
Here's your night medicine. Just kidding. There was, well, I'm not going to like out anybody, but there was a daycare around my area, and I think she was giving them like Benadryl, melatonin, like anything to like get them to sleep. And you hear about those horror stories like at daycare or at school. No, isn't it wild though to hear like someone else giving your kid that kind of medicine just to get them to like nap? And then meanwhile, our daycare somehow has these kids like so well trained that they just fall asleep like within 5 minutes and they're sleeping soundly on a nap mat
in a room full of other children where they play with them. No, it's crazy because they'll post pictures sometimes with like all of the kids napping, and it blows my mind. Fielding's class is 2-year-olds.
Yeah,
you've got a room full of 2-year-olds all laying down on nap mats. Sound asleep for an hour and a half.
It's incredible. I need the magic juice that they're getting.
No, I've literally been like, what do you play? Like what subliminal messaging, songs,
yes.
Like
are you hypnotizing
magic?
them?
It's just the power of Jesus because they go to a church school and God's like, you know what? You can have a break, ladies.
Yes. You've worked hard. You deserve this.
They probably live for those breaks, but it's so funny. But Fielding got to see Addie's soccer game today, which I'm sure we'll get into later. But one of Fielding's classmates has an older sister that play soccer in Addie's league. And so and I also coincidentally went to high school with his parents. So it was so weird because I'm like, wait, I recognize that kid. He's in Fielding's class. And like, he was like, Fielding? And Fielding's
so
like,
cute.
Heismaning. I'm like, no, thank you.
He did go up to him and he like stood by him for a second.
He was really confused about the context of why Holden was there. He was like he was looking at me and then he's looking around and you were like, he's looking for the teachers. Like, am I at school? Did I just get punked? He's like, are my mom and dad getting really creative with dropping me off now so they don't have
literally
to
take me
deal
all the way
with the emotional turmoil? God.
The links that we'll go to.
Hey, he's been doing amazing at drop off and like
that's so great.
Thank the Lord, because last year, the entire year, he never got it together with drop off. Even when I took him 5 days a week, it didn't matter. He never got it together with drop off. He always was sobbing. And that's just like a terrible way to start your day.
Oh, yeah.
So he was a little cry at the beginning of this school year, but now, I mean, he doesn't even try to bring toys in anymore. He sets his toys like we take him on the golf cart. He puts the toys in the container, compartment thing, and then he gets out.
That's such a celebration. That is a big celebration
so
for him, you know. And even when they're like, oh, as soon as you walk away, they're fine, you know, because Tucker used to do that at daycare. They're like, oh, as soon as you leave, like, you're fine. But it's like the emotional turmoil of him and then of me, too. And so, I mean, he's fine this year, but that was just at daycare last year. And so I'm like so glad that you get that relief with not.
Because it gives me it makes my anxiety like,
you don't have to have that build up of like, oh, every time I drop him off, like, this is what I have to.
Well, it just makes me less likely to drop him off because I'm like, never mind, you can stay home and we'll just watch movies all day and you can eat sprinkles.
Yes.
So you don't have to be sad. Like, I don't want you to ever be sad. It's like, okay, well, maybe look inward, girl.
That's what therapy's for.
I know.
You're working on it.
I am working on it, but it's just funny. But yeah, he did not understand this morning, which, by the way, I would like to shout out Addie, who told the Uberito worker, I scored 6 goals today.
She was so proud of herself.
The Uberito worker was like, okay, do you want a bowl or tortilla? Like,
I know. Thankfully, though, there was like a girl and a boy working there. And then when I say boy, because they're like teenagers. And so the guy was like, okay, chicken and rice. And the girl's like, oh, good job. I was like, she was just so excited.
Which
so
she should be. She scored 6 goals.
She had what I thought was her last soccer game. Mom fail. I was texting the coach's wife about it. And she's like, oh, yeah, I'm so glad. Because I was like, it was so nice like playing soccer with you guys this year. She goes, yeah, like same. But there's still one more game. I was like, what? There's still one more game?
Also,
I worked this whole thing up with family and everything. I was like, today's her last game.
No, and also like, you took Addie to Walmart to pick out which I know y'all like had a gift card or whatever, but you were like, for your last soccer game,
I let her choose where we were going to go to lunch, like because it was her last soccer
Now she's going to be like, I demand this kind of treatment all the time. Good job.
I'm like, shit, I messed that one up.
All of us.
Great. I know. But it was so much fun. Like the soccer season has like just been a blast watching her. And then you guys getting to come. I love it too. And Fielding did awesome. Like, well,
he did better today than he did last time. He doesn't understand why he can't go on the field with Addie. Like,
which is fair. I mean, he doesn't go to practices or anything. How's he supposed to know?
No. And he's like the whole time he's like, Addie.
Yes,
Addie.
Looking
like,
at her, wanting
so
her.
bad. I know. Like when we're walking up, he's like, Addie? I'm like, yes, that's Addie. Just hold your horses.
It is a hard concept for them to understand. Like Tucker gets it now because he's been to every practice and game with us, but it took him a while too of like, wait, I don't get to go play. So now we have a soccer ball for him.
Yes, you know? Which is so smart. I laughed because the kid that's in Fielding's class too, obviously his big sister plays, and then Tucker has Addie who plays. So they're both second children. Yeah. They're both boys, second child at this game, and they're close to the same age. So it's just funny because they're just like sitting in their chairs living life, and then Fielding's like, what the hell is this? And I'm like, that is called siblings versus only child. Like Fielding's like, no, this is about me. This is a me event.
Literally.
But he did better. Last game he was running a lot more wild. Today
he did he really did.
Yeah, he didn't do bad. And then he didn't want to part ways with you guys.
Honestly, so this was my complete win for the week. We got done with the soccer game. Yeah, you were saying he didn't want to part ways. And so I was like, well, he could just ride with us. So he rides with us to Uberito. And then we're done with Uberito and he still doesn't want to go.
And whenever we say he doesn't want to go, we mean like he won't let go of Addie's hand and he's devastated
like,
that he were
like he has the saddest sob.
No. I'm like, okay. And so then, oh my God, Harper's in here.
Dang it, Harper. She always does this.
Anyways, you were like, well, we're going to go to Walmart. we can just take him. I'm like, you're insane if you think you're going to take all 3 kids. And my child is like 12 children because, as I said, he's an only child. We can divide and conquer. Like, it's just not whatever. It's fine. He doesn't always in the car and he runs crazy. But you said he did great.
No. So we divided at that point, and I was like, y'all just go home. Like, we've got this. Matt and I have got this. I was like, wait, Matt, do we have this? And Matt was like, yeah, we have this. And so he went just to Walmart with us, and we put them all in the cart, and they did awesome. Like,
did he try to get out?
No. He tried one. He tried one time. He just like leaned for me and he was like kind of whining, like like not whining, but
I know what you mean, like trying to get
And I told him, I was like, no, we're all gonna sit in the basket, and then he just like hung out in the basket the whole time. But it helps because he had Addie and Tucker there doing the same thing, and Tucker wanted out too. And I also told Tucker because I knew once I let one of them out, all of them would have been out.
But
so
also,
we just kept them contained,
just like. Okay.
It was great. They all picked out a little toy. It was so fun.
I take Fielding to Target by myself. I put him in the cart. There's nothing that will stop that child from jumping out. He will jump out. I'm not kidding. I've watched him.
I believe you.
Fling his body over and then slowly like scale the side of the cart to get out. He's not interested. But it's so different whenever they have other kids to look up to. And Addie being there, I think, helps a lot. But I mean, he's getting older too. He's getting better. It's just taking children places is exhausting. Taking toddlers places sucks.
Yes, it does. And I actually was talking to my sister about this, and I'm sure you too, where I feel like Tucker is at a very hard age right now
he's
to
at
take
such a
him
hard age.
out anywhere. He'll be 2 in December, and it's just a difficult age, like with emotions and listening and following directions because they're learning so much. And part of me is like wants to never go to a restaurant again until we're out of this stage. But then like my sister and I were talking about it, and it's so true because but if we don't take him anywhere, then how's he ever going to learn how to act in public?
Yes.
So it's like we have to get through the really hard stuff right now, and then it will be easier one day.
And someday you're going to wake up and this phase will be completely over. And so it's like, you won't even remember, I think, the little minute details. But I mean, I feel like we're just now getting to the part where Fielding really understands like directions. Like I can say, close the door, go throw this away. And he like understands to actually go do those things. Or maybe he's just finally agreeing to them.
We'll give him the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah, but restaurants are still hard for us too. And like, I mean, Fielding will be 3 in January. And it's like, this year is just kind of rough. I think as soon as kids want to start crawling, your life is over for going out to eat. It just sucks.
Well, crawling honestly was the worst stage for me because you don't want to go anywhere because it's gross everywhere. So it's like, well, he's walking now, so that part is easier. Like getting into places, but then he wants to run and then like trying to like have him sit still. But I have to remind myself that we went through this with Addie and like now we go to a restaurant and like she just acts like a little adult. Like she just sits there and so I need to remind myself there is light at the end of the tunnel.
Yes.
We have to get through the hard stuff. So like even like 3 kids at Walmart, I'm glad that we got to do it because now I feel so equipped.
It makes you braver.
I feel like, oh, this is so doable. It's doable. Maybe not every time and maybe we got lucky, but it makes me feel capable.
Yeah. That's how I felt when I took Fielding to the zoo by myself that one day.
No, that's a huge deal to take the kids.
Well, you know, I'm kind of a chicken shit with stuff like that. So I took him to the zoo by myself and I was like, it's going to be fine. We're going to stay as long as we want. Worst case scenario, I have to carry him to the car, which I did. I was sore. It was a good workout. Mission accomplished. You're fine. I think we saw a quarter of the zoo. Who cares?
Yeah.
Doesn't matter.
Yep.
We can always come back.
Yes.
But it's like letting go of the thought of like, we have to see everything. We have to walk a million miles. What if he has a meltdown? What if he has a blowout? What if it's like,
well, and I think
it just is what it is.
That's how like going to the zoo as a kid was because it was a big deal. It was like, for us like a huge deal if we got to go to the zoo. Like, and zoos are expensive now. So FYI, if like a family of 4 is going to go to the Houston Zoo, it's $100. And then you're not counting snacks or food. That's the tickets.
Yeah, and that's so if you're near the Houston area, which most of our listeners are, you may know this, you may not, but Houston Zoo has flex prices. It's not a set price every day. So that's what's weird too. Like when I took Fielding, it was like $60 for just my ticket.
God. Oh, that's painful
Mhm.
for a zoo ticket.
Uh-huh.
And so it does make you like, I think it's rewiring like my brain that, okay, we're going to go to the zoo because it's such a trek to get there,
Mhm.
but it's okay if we don't see everything. It's okay,
Yep.
but that's because like in childhood it was a big deal to go to the
It's
zoo,
like,
so we would see
you better do
everything
it
in
all.
one day.
Yes.
But I will say, if you guys like, if you're looking for ideas to like give grandparents, or if you are a grandparent and you're looking for
Mhm.
ideas because Christmas is coming up, and my aunt was asking, what do the kids
Mhm.
need and want? And I'm like, well, they have lots of wants, but what do they need? And she bought us a zoo membership,
Which is so awesome.
which is good for a year. And my
so
mother-in-law
much
did
more
that like
economical.
2 years ago. Yes, because the zoo membership, it was like $200
Yes.
for a family of 4.
For the
Which
year.
means that all we have to do is go 2 times and it pays for itself
yeah.
already. And so I'm excited because then that takes the pressure off of if we stay 30 minutes, an hour, it's
Yeah,
okay
you can
because
come
we
back.
can come back.
And really, it's not as far as I think it is. I always think of the zoo as being an hour
only
away.
like
It's 30 minutes.
It feels far though,
I know.
and the parking
is a
does
shit
stress
show
me
'cause
out.
It's in downtown.
One thing to know about me, you know this. One thing to know about me is if parking is going to be an issue, I don't want to
Don't
go.
invite Courtney.
Like parallel parking, bye. I'm
See,
turning around and going home.
I feel very much the same way. And I have, okay, so Connor and I for our anniversary went and stayed downtown. Having to pay to park at a hotel
that
I'm
literally
staying at,
pisses me off.
I turn into a boomer. I turn into an old person.
No,
I'm like, well, we're just gonna leave. And it's like,
$15.
no, literally. And it's like, okay, bitch, calm down. But
I feel the same way though.
freaking infuriates me. I'm like, it's a hotel. I'm already paying an exorbitant amount of money to sleep in this building when I could sleep at my house. And now you're gonna charge me additionally for parking?
And it's usually at 25, at least 25.
Yeah, I think it was $21 whenever
Yeah.
we did it. And then, but then we just Ubered everywhere after that because Connor's like, let's try to drive. I'm like, I do not want to figure out the parking afterwards. Like,
that is
no.
what keeps me away from going downtown anything. I don't want to go explore downtown.
I am done. I told Connor after our adventure this year because we like went out to a nice restaurant. I was like, have we recorded since we did that?
We did. We recorded like right after, but we didn't go into depth with y'all's.
I feel like I'm just like having amnesia right now. I also have to sneeze. Let me set my coffee down so I don't spill it.
Bless you. Bless you.
You're a demon. I know what you were trying to do.
I was trying to get you to not sneeze. Right?
I know, that's terrible.
Oh, you wanted to sneeze?
Who wants to hold their sneeze inside?
Me, because I hate sneezing.
You're evil. Anyways, we went to this like speakeasy type restaurant called Patton's. It's in Savoie.
Don't know what those words mean, but
it was fine. They wanted to. I love like a fancy steak. Love it truly. They want to make it an experience, and by experience, for some reason, what that equates to is slow AF.
Like the melting pot. One time we were there for literally over 3 hours.
Oh my God.
I don't need my fondue to take this long.
Can we not? Like, what are we doing? So that was like the steak, delicious. But okay. Connor and I got steaks, obviously. I think he got a 10 ounce, I got a 6 ounce. And they don't include sides or salads or bread or anything. Nothing. So I got a side of like these little potato things too, which were also delicious.
Like babylings or whatever they call those?
No, fingerlings. Babylings. No, they're called Duchess potatoes. So they like must pipe them out of a bag. They look like little tiny like macaroons.
I mean,
almost.
any type of potato.
And then they like blowtorch them on top, or Connor said broil them. I was like, I could make these. They were good.
Yeah,
they were good. I'm gonna try them eventually. I need a piping bag. But so we did that. We each got 2 drinks, $200.
Oh, painful.
$200.
Painful. That is the boomer
And
coming
we
out. And
did
us. I'm
not-
like, I don't want to spend that much on food.
Well, I'm like, if I'm gonna leave a situation like that, like I was still a little hungry afterwards. Like I was like, I need
to be so full. I need to be like full as a tick.
Like okay, Oklahoma.
I knew it
when we went to Perry's, like I was
miserable.
Like,
yes,
I think I was wearing pants. I think I had to unbutton them. Like I was like,
hey, if I'm gonna spend that much money on food, though, that's my goal. I want to have to unbutton my pants.
Same thing with Crossroads for your birthday. Like I was like,
oh my God,
to sit down in the bar like flat.
That literally
like,
killed us.
I'm not okay. Like I ate too much butter. But that feels worth it to me. Like this food was good. Like $100 good.
Yeah. No, and 200 is pretty
okay,
wild.
let me just, not having sides should be criminal.
No.
I'm
Steakhouse,
looking at you guys because steakhouse sides are dank.
minimum 2 sides. Well, not
Yes.
minimum. Obviously, standard would be 2 sides. Minimum 1 side.
Yes.
Like, it has to come with at least
Which
one
I will say
side.
Perry's doesn't either. They do the family style sides, but Perry's is so
No,
much.
those sides are worth it though.
No, literally so worth it. Well, that's the thing. These
You get a
potatoes were
lot,
good.
too.
They didn't have a lot of options though. And Connor, I've talked about it before, is the pickiest person ever. There was no side he would eat. It was like glazed carrots,
Oh yeah,
potatoes,
Yeah.
green beans, like stuff like that, which is all good and fine, but they're like $16
He's like,
a
"Where's
piece.
my ranch salad?"
Well, he thought there was
and-
going to be like a baked mac and cheese. He thought he saw it
Yeah,
online.
well,
and he
because
was
it's a
real-
freaking steakhouse,
Right. He was like, oh, hell yeah, baked mac and cheese. They didn't have it. And he was devastated.
Yeah, I would be too.
Yeah,
if you work
so-
yourself up for some
and
baked mac and cheese.
Now, remind me, did we get bread at Perry's?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
We got it's the brown one, right? The brown
pumpernickel?
bread. Yeah, whatever that is. I just think of Outback Steakhouse bread.
Yes. So good. Connor calls it chocolate bread. It's not chocolate. Yeah. So to get bread at this steakhouse was $18.
Oh my god! What's happening?
Like,
what? Which is why.
One or the other.
Which is why you guys ended up doing. And we talked about this the last time we recorded, but you guys have your flaggerstone. What do you call it now? Your
My flagstone.
Your flagstone. Your
My fake
flagstone. And you went and bought Costco filet mignons,
Mhm.
and it was so freaking good. And I'm like, honestly, do that and then order some sides from somewhere or make them, whatever.
if
But
we're
like, even if you just order sides,
If we're gonna go out, I like, to me it's like the tried and true restaurants like stand the test of time, more like Fleming's or Killen's or Perry's or whatever. Like, and also all that to say, after this year we went out to eat and then we like Ubered to some bar. Like I think we literally went to one bar, maybe two. Had to pay a cover, which I'm just like, I'm
No.
too old for
you
this.
should
Like,
not
I
have to
can't.
pay a cover to
I
get into a
can't.
bar.
It's just not. And then our drinks are $20 a piece. I'm like, this is ridiculous. So, anyways, we did that. It was fine. But I told Connor, no more downtown. If we're going to do like a staycation, which we like to do for our anniversary, is like go somewhere kind of local. But I said we're going to the Woodlands next year. Said we will go stay like in the Woodlands at a nice hotel where there's a parking lot.
I liked the
that you don't have to
Woodlands.
pay
And
for.
they have all the shopping that you can walk
Yes.
around. They have 60 Vines, which Matt and I really like.
Yes.
I like that because it feels it's
more like a
still city, but it
grown-up.
feels smaller and more
Yes.
quaint.
And I think it's more of like a grown up vibe, not so much like downtown is people wanting to like really party. And it's like Connor and I are just like trying to have a drink and hang out. Like,
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know. I'm also just more of an activities person. Of course, I did make friends with every single person in the bar. That is just
Of course. Follow them on Instagram.
that is the joy of my life. I love to get everyone's story at the bar. Of
course.
I was consoling this lady after her breakup.
Oh God, of course you did.
I was. Connor's like, why do you do this? But Connor's literally just like sitting there mute. I'm like, I'm going to talk to everybody else here. We met another couple. We went into their whole story.
Of course.
I learned about how they almost got a divorce a couple years ago. Like it was like, yeah,
you,
totally.
You learned so much about people.
I did.
Whenever
I did.
you're
I was.
Emily.
I was. No, seriously, it is my mother-in-law, and I laugh all the time because I definitely like she and I both would talk to a brick wall.
Yeah.
And my sister-in-law's more my sister-in-law that's my age, Maddie. I think she gets embarrassed because she says Jennifer like gets this look on her face like she wants to talk to somebody. So like if they're in an elevator, Jennifer's like,
And Maddie's like, no.
Maddie's
no,
like,
no.
stop trying to talk to people. And I do the same thing. I'll be like trying to make eye contact. Like, how's it going? Like I talk to everyone.
No, I literally will avoid eye contact to avoid small talk because I don't
love small
want
talk.
any type of small talk. Like give me a deep conversation, that's fine. But to
Yeah.
get to the deep conversation, you have to do the small talk, and I don't like the small talk.
I like.
So then it's just awkward.
I feel
'cause I'm
like-
like coming out with like deep conversations.
So tell me about your childhood. Well, I think that a special skill of mine is that I kind of like can skip the small talk. Like it's there, but I
Yeah.
kind of do like I run hurdles over small talk.
Yeah, I'm just afraid of it. That's what keeps
I
me
love it.
from. I'm
That's
afraid
what gets
of
me
it.
in the game. Keeps me in the game. Keeps me excited.
Well, talking about little like staycations and traveling and stuff, I'm not telling you guys where or when we're going, but we planned a little.
Why don't you go tell them where?
I mean, I guess we could say where. I just don't want anyone stalking us, for our feet. But we, sometime this month, we're going to Broken Bow, and
You're acting like we have.
no, because I'm thinking about your grandma telling us be
fine.
careful. And so we booked a little we're going to call it like a little cousin trip just because the kids, you know,
The kids think
whatever.
they're
Like a little
cousins.
friend trip, I guess.
Yeah.
Where we're staying in a cabin out in the woods. This is the only way I can get her to slightly go camping. I'm so excited.
The cabin we're staying in is literally
not
so
camping.
nice. It's got a TV outside.
And a hot tub.
Yeah, it's got a hot tub.
And a
It's got a
playground.
whole like couch sectional. The outside is sick. The inside's sick. The whole place, like when I saw it, I was like,
so
fuck
excited.
it now.
I
It's got a
know.
playground for the kids.
know.
It's got tetherball. So Matt and I are just gonna duel. I can just feel that. Like
Someone's face is going to
someone's
get smashed.
fingers getting jammed.
Yeah, and not going to be mine. I hate tetherball.
Okay.
I hate it.
Wimp.
I am. I don't want my finger jammed.
You know, we played tetherball at that one time. We went to like the P9 or P6 farms. Remember that? And tetherballs are a lot harder than I remember them.
No, it was.
I was like, damn.
this
This shit kind of hurts.
literally. But I'm so excited because they have so much. So, if you've ever been to Broken Bow, like even just like 5 to 7 years ago, it was this small little town.
And you didn't ever say officially the name Broken Bow, Oklahoma.
Oh yeah, Broken Bow, Oklahoma. So it was like on the rise, obviously, but then we went this weekend with some of Matt's family to celebrate a 30th birthday, and it popped off. What's crazy is it still has one highway, like so 2 lanes to get in and out. So 1 lane, a 2-lane highway is what I'm trying to say. So like,
Do you want to draw us a picture too?
I would like to. Can you imagine this?
One goes north,
but
one goes
everyone was checking out at 11 o'clock. So there was so much traffic getting out,
dang.
which thankfully we're leaving during the week. So that's going to be
Touche.
perfect. We planned it out really well because we were leaving on a Sunday and just to get out of there. It's just wild because this place that like even 10 years ago,
It was just this little dot
it
on
was
the map.
popular, but like there's people from all over. There was like Indiana plates, so random, but now they have so much to do is what I'm trying to say. So they have a petting zoo, they have a little train, like they have a lot for the kids to do when originally when you would first go there was a winery, there wasn't even a brewery yet, and there was hiking and then the lake, which is beautiful. Like Matt and I used to tent camp there and then we'd rent cabins sometimes too. So I'm just so excited
I know,
for
I'm
you guys to
excited
see
too.
it and get the cooler weather.
Yeah, because
and,
I've never been there before. So it's a new place for me completely. But yeah, I'm excited. And I just love a cabin vibe.
Yeah.
Like a fire.
Oh, I'm
Like
so
let's
excited.
do s'mores with the kids.
Yes.
I'm like wanting it to be, because it's going to be close to Thanksgiving. So it's not like, but I'm just like full on. I'm ready for Christmas already. Like
I know.
I'm in this spirit this year.
I love it.
I want to.
Damn time.
Asked if I could put my tree up yesterday. Like
November 1st, and you've never been this person. Like
I know.
Up
I'm just,
until
like, ready to feel in the spirit.
I love it. No, it's so
It's just
so
such a cozy, happy time
fun.
of year.
It is, and then with kids, like
know.
having them at this age, is
I think
just
filming is going to
so
get it a
much
little more
fun.
this year.
Yeah.
Also, my mother-in-law asked me if we were going to do Elf on the Shelf this year.
Oh, I'm not doing Elf on the Shelf.
Addie would love it though.
Yeah, I'm not doing it. You literally have to move the elf every single day.
Yeah. Look on Pinterest. They have so many cute ideas. But no, like I don't think he's ready for it yet. I don't think he'd understand it enough.
I don't think he would. Addie would at this age. I just don't want to commit. Yeah, that's on me though.
Child's just grunting in the background. If
Sounds
anyone
like
can hear
he's in a sword fight. Yeah. Well, okay, let's that was a long intro. Let's talk about what we've been watching because I'm
before
really
we do that,
excited.
Welcome back to your weekly podcast where we talk about motherhood, marriage, and everything in between.
20 minutes later.
You've never listened to this podcast before and you're still here. Hey.
Hi, welcome.
Hey. Bold choice.
Can you go back a couple episodes, please? We
yeah.
kind of just went to came to raw dog it today, just whatever.
Well, it's a Saturday
comes.
when we're recording. And we usually record on Sundays, but we just wanted to get it
kind of just get it
knocked
done.
out.
I mean, I enjoy my time with you, doing this, but I needed
Yeah.
it off of my list, though.
I agree. I'd like Sunday to just be clear.
Same. Yeah. I
just
need
want
to
Sunday to be
mentally
free and
prepare.
clear.
I need to mentally prepare for the week. So I'm so glad that we got to do this today. It worked out.
So any hoodles, reading, watching, listening. I finished. So last time we talked, I was just cranking it out on books.
Yes, you were.
I have not finished I finished the book that I was reading when we first talked. So I finished the 5th book in that series, and that was kind of could be the end, honestly.
The end of the series? What do you mean?
Yeah.
Or the end for you?
Yes. Well, I think initially the author, from what I've read, read it, not legitimate. I don't know. But I think it was initially where it ended, and then she decided to keep going with the story.
Okay.
It's good. It's fine. It's just not Sarah J. Maas.
Can you repeat the book name again?
The series is called the Shatter Me series.
Okay.
So, and I'm counting. I'm saying 5 books, but that's because there's novellas. So technically 3 real books. 2 novellas in there. But it's just not like Sarah J. Maas books, like Throne of Glass and A Court of Thorns and Roses. I haven't read Crescent City yet, but those like build so much. And then whenever you get to like the climactic scenes, like big battles or wars or whatever, there's like chapters and chapters and chapters of these wars, which can kind of be redundant sometimes. Like in the last book of the series you're reading, Kingdom of Ash, there's a lot about like the army's movements, like other chapters. And so sometimes that gets a little boring to me, but honestly, I'm realizing now like how much detail she goes into is what makes a story like so powerful and so interesting. Because this was like good, but there was some buildup, and like the climactic part was two like 5-page chapters.
Oh.
And then it was over, and I was like, is this the end of it? Like
that can't be right. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just, well, it's a young adult like series, so I mean, it is more
you just wanted more. You wanted more from that.
Yeah. So anyways, I haven't finished. Then I started the next book. And I haven't gotten that far. I think I might be like 100 pages into it, but I need to pick it back up. I just was like going so hard with reading, and then I kind of slowed down. I want to finish it because I bought all the freaking books, so I have to finish it now.
Now you're committed.
Now I'm committed, but there's other books I like keep seeing on my bookshelf, and I'm like, ooh, like I kind of want to go more that direction. But I mean, it's fine. It's not bad. It's just like once you've had Sarah J. Maas, it's kind of ruins everything else for you.
It's incredible.
There's that. Connor and I watched Don't Move on Netflix last night. It's kind of like a suspenseful kidnapping movie.
I'm into it. I like anything like that.
It was
so
really
I'll
good.
watch
And
it.
honestly, it was short. I think it was like an hour and a half flat, which is nice because I feel like everyone wants to make movies 37 years long now.
No, hour and a half, honestly. It's usually like, it'd be like, it's so specific, like an hour 37. I'm like, perfect. Done. I will watch that.
This one was like that. Like I started falling asleep, which Connor and I stayed up way too late watching this movie, but he was like, are you tired? I'm like, let me see how long there is left. 18 minutes. I'm like, I can hang on.
I have to power through.
Yeah. So it was good. And more interesting than I thought. And
I held in my sneeze.
You think you're better than me? Think you're better than me because you can hold in your sneezes?
This is basically arm wrestling all over again.
Literally. I don't think I've really been listening to anything crazy.
Yeah.
And that's that on that. Your turn.
I finally picked back up Air of Fire, and I am reminded like how good it is. I just needed a little breaky break from reading.
Valid.
But now that I'm back, I mean, I haven't read it in a couple days, but I read it like on our way to Broken Bow, on our way back while we were there a little bit. And so I'm like super motivated again. So I'm reading that, which is the Throne of Glass series. And then I've been watching a couple things. So one movie, you guys have to watch it, and I recommended it to you. It's The Caddo River.
Oh, I forgot you told me about that.
So it has...
Add it to my notes.
It has the guy that played in the music video All Too Well.
Dylan O'Brien.
Thank you. I love that. I love that you were able to
I'm an
recall that
encyclopedia
so fast. So it's Dylan O'Brien in it, and it is like time hopping, different. It's like very multiversey without mystery without the. I mean, it did.
I'm a simpleton.
No, you have to. It is so
I'll try
good.
it.
So it's a movie. It's not a series. And at the end of the movie, I like got so obsessed. I started like looking things up about the movie, and I do that if I like really, really like something. And that was one of the best movies I've seen in a long time.
What is it on?
That's a great question.
I think you sent me a screenshot of
Amazon Prime.
You said Amazon Prime, but I think it's also on Max. Did you have to buy it?
No.
What am I talking about?
No.
You wouldn't rent a movie.
No, I don't rent movies.
You would never.
I think it was HBO Max, maybe Hulu, and then Amazon.
It was on a bunch of things.
It may not be on Amazon Prime. I think Hulu. I think it was on Hulu. Just Google it, y'all. Just Google it. Caddo River with Dylan O'Brien.
It's the best movie she's ever seen.
That may not actually be the name of the title. I don't know. I'm just kidding.
Okay, I'm like, are you really not sure?
No, it's Caddo River. And then
Caddo.
Yeah, Caddo. And then I've been watching the series Tell Me Lies on Hulu.
And I've only watched 3 episodes, but I started it and I was like, Courtney, you have to watch this.
We watched season 1. Yes. And I knew that was good, but it felt like it took a while for them to come out with season 2.
Yeah.
Over a year.
I think over a year. And I think it's probably because the writer's strike, if I had to guess.
Oh, maybe.
If I had to guess.
That was a long time ago, but that did push back everything. And so whenever I started this series again, I didn't know how I'd feel about it because it's college age.
But it pulls you
And
right back.
oh my God, it pulled me in. I'm literally so addicted to it. I stayed up until 2:00 in the morning last night watching this. I have 1.5 episodes left because I don't finish things. So like I was like right in the middle of the episode and I turned it off.
Crazy.
But it is so freaking good. But it's very risque. So like, you know.
Yeah, beyond. Viewer discretion advised. Don't
Think
watch it.
Think of Edgephoria. Like, is it more like
Courtney?
Not
Edgephoria is the software we use to proctor tests in school. You can take the teacher out of the classroom, but you can't take the classroom out of the teacher.
Euphoria. I do that every freaking time.
I'm dead.
Euphoria. It's Euphoria vibes, but with older people.
And like not as much drug stuff, I feel.
I do. No, there's not. It's a lot of sex, but I do like that they're not glamorizing drugs.
Yeah,
on
Euphoria
show,
is more
Euphoria
like,
was a lot of glamorizing with high schoolers.
I just feel like Euphoria is like euphoric. It's like not through the lens of like real, and like Tell Me Lies is more straightforward. I think Euphoria feels like a fever dream.
That's true. That's true. That's a great way to. Your son is very sad.
He's having a hard time with his emotions lately. It's been really interesting.
But we stayed up so late because we had such a good night last night. We came over and you guys set up like a little pallet for the kids. Well, we gave them a bath.
Let's back up here. I made a delicious meal.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my God. I need leftovers.
I have some. You can have some. It's my stepmom's family recipe for cannelloni, which everyone calls cannolis, but they're cannelloni.
Because cannolis are the dessert.
Cannolis are the dessert, but they look similar kind of to pasta, and you like, but it is a labor of love recipe. Like it's not a quick meal. But every now and then I'm like, I want to make cannelloni because it's like you have to home make the white sauce. You make the stuffing for the noodles with like spinach, onion.
Well, anytime you have to boil something and then bake it, that's a whole process. And then you have all the steps.
And it's like multiple. Yeah, there's a lot of steps going on. I've made it so many times at this point in my life. Like it's not so stressful to me. But I made that. Dense as hell. So good.
No, it was so freaking good. I also brought over some sourdough bread that I made into like garlic bread and toasted it up because I've been on my sourdough venture still. I've been cranking out the bread. Cranking it out.
Bakery.
Well, what's funny is Matt is like obsessed with my sourdough bread now, and he asked for it the other day, and I was like, well, actually, you're going to be like around, so let me show you. Yeah. Like, let me show you how to make it. And so we did it together.
Get in there in the kitchen.
Because I know, like slap him around a little bit. I wanted him to see the process and I explained it. It's not hard to make sourdough bread. It's just timely, and you have to pay attention to like, oh, it's been 30 minutes. Let me go stretch and fold.
I think the timing is because that's what I told someone. It's not that it's actually so time consuming. It's just that it's time delicate, time sensitive.
And you have to time out like your day. So what I found is if I bake on like a Thursday, I start at noon, and then that will be perfect.
When you say you start at noon, do you mean you mix your dough at noon? So when do you feed?
Just that morning.
Okay, so you'll like wake up at like 8
Eve is so fast, and so
Eve
like I can
is the TikTok sourdough starter, and she is a hardy bitch.
I know. I gave some of it to one of our listeners that you know her from high school, but I gave some of the starter to her, and then I took some bread
some to me too.
To you, and then I took some bread to my coworkers yesterday, and one of the teachers there was like, "Can you bring me some of your starter?" I was like, "Yeah, girl, I got you."
I'm a starter dealer. Yeah, Courtney's been cranking out loaves. I still haven't attempted another loaf in a while because I tried a couple of recipes with the sourdough and it has not turned out very well for me so far. So I'm just taking a little break.
Yeah, that's okay. That's
we'll
okay.
Come back.
You know what? Even if you don't go anywhere on this journey, like you encouraged me, you inspired me.
Honestly,
and that's what it's about. You inspired other people.
Thank God, because like you can carry the ship now. Like you can carry the team, because baking is just not for me. I'm not a baker because it's so precise, and I think that's so funny. It's so indicative of our personalities because you can be so diligent and like a rule follower, and for me with baking, I'm like, 20 grams of salt, 10 grams of salt, same shit, different day. And it throw it all in there, mix it up. And it's like, no, it really makes a difference.
Well, I will say though, so if you're on the sourdough journey with us, there's so many TikToks and what I'm about it. And it's like, you have to feed this and then do this.
Take
it's like
its temperature every 20 minutes.
It is so literal, but where it's honestly testing my personality and like pushing me and like pushing me to be a better person. I'm talking about sourdough.
Because
like instead of being a perfectionist, I'm learning that like there is leeway with it. It's like, oh, it's okay if I'm off a little bit on the measurements. Like it's teaching me how to not be a perfectionist with it, and that like if it doesn't turn out, guess what? It's okay. I'm not a failure in life. It just means that I had a bad batch of dough.
My favorite thing that I would see on TikTok was like, so I'd go from, because you know once your algorithm starts, it's like all sourdough. So you'd have this one person that's like getting a temperature thing,
ridiculous
thermometer, temping their dough every 30 minutes between every stretch and fold. They're doing coil, very intense. And then the next one you go on to is like, hey guys, just a reminder, the pioneers,
literally
didn't have a refrigerator to cold ferment. They also didn't have thermometers. They just made fucking bread. This is not that serious. And it's like, that is where this comes from, is like, that's why it's so cool to do, is because it's like the old school method. So like they weren't measuring on scales.
Yes.
Calm down.
It's all good. It doesn't have to be an exact thing. You're basically just looking for
like you're learning your process, and I like told you like I need you to write down for me exactly what you're doing, because I tried different recipes and I need to attempt again.
Well, and especially with our climate too, that it's like it is an experiment because we're so humid or whatever, depending on the day. Like if it's hot, I think that does make a difference. And so I wrote down for you like exactly what I do, because it might be a little bit like a tiny bit different than what's on TikTok because that person's in a different climate.
Wait.
What?
I just had a memory. Not a memory. I just remembered something. We watched the Menendez brothers show.
Oh yes, you did. You did. I had already watched it. So you watched the Menendez brothers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have kind of crazy takes.
Yeah. Go for it.
I mean, okay. If you haven't watched the Menendez brothers show, spoilers ahead. But I mean, nothing that it's a true crime. It actually, this all like happened. So if you know anything about the story, shouldn't be that much of a surprise. But
no spoilers.
Just no spoilers on history. But the show was amazing. Like very well done. Javier Bardem, like if you put him in a show, like he's so creepy and intense.
He played it so well though.
He is such an intense human being, and I just adore him. I actually went down a Javier Bardem rabbit hole, and
of course,
needed to see it. And then Chloe Sevigny, who also is amazing. I think I'm saying her last name right. Anyways, it was really good. And like, if you live under a rock and you never heard about this story, the Menendez brothers are two brothers. This was in 1989. They're in a super, super wealthy family. The dad's super rich. And they killed both their parents, like very violently with shotguns, close range shooting, like mutilated them very, very bad in their Beverly Hills home. And the younger brother was 18 and the older brother was 21. So they killed them, and initially, like they said, it was a mafia hit, like that. It wasn't. We're not suspected at all. The brothers blew through $700,000 in 1989, so that's like
$1.5
today's $1 zillion.
Yeah.
And they were like spending money on Rolexes and cars and just like being crazy, stupid kids. And then
because they were I think you said this, but they were teenagers at the time.
The oldest one was 21. He was in college.
Okay, 21 and 18?
So, but I mean, they were emotionally
adults,
immature.
No, literally.
For sure. So anyways, the younger brother then was feeling so guilty that he confessed to his therapist. And then the therapist like found out like it. Anyways, the moral of the story is their confessions were recorded and they were caught. So then they go to prison. They have a mistrial. In the first trial, the jury's hung, and they come out once they get this defense attorney saying that the dad sexually assaulted them and that the mom knew about it and like it was very inappropriate, very like years and years and years of abuse, very terrible story, very terrible circumstances. So the jury's hung, which means they have to do another trial.
Yeah.
So, but the brothers are doing like shady shit while they're in prison also, or in jail. Yeah. With the trial. So like the older brother's talking on the phone to this lady and telling her like, I put on such a good performance in the trial today, whatever.
And she recorded everything.
And wrote a book. And so then he can't Lyle, the older brother, can't testify anymore because like he has lost all credibility and all these things, whatever.
Yeah.
And then the younger brother just seems like kind of a psycho on the stand. So it's again like they're hung between death penalty and not. They do get convicted and they're currently still in prison. So
which they are actually right now they are going to be up for parole. They have to go through the whole hearing, but I think this show like brought a movement and put some pressure
100%,
on everything.
100%. It really did. And I think the takeaway from everyone I have talked to about the show was like, this is so horrible. These boys were treated so terribly, and like it kind of makes sense. Like they shouldn't be serving this like life sentence without parole. Like they whatever, but they did this when they were young. Blah, 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 blah. Now, here's where things get spicy from E-Money's point of view. These boys, I say boys because I feel like that's how they were painted in the media. These young men.
Yeah, but they were, I think emotionally, mentally, they were boys.
100%. But I don't know that I believe their story. Like they are so, it's so twisty, and the things they would say that were recorded outside of the trial, it's kind of just like, I don't know that they're reliable narrators. And let's, like I told you when we talked about this, the only people that could corroborate whether this happened or not, if any of this is true, they're dead. It's the parents.
Yeah. Which I like that. Well, and when we talked about this, I was like, I love that we can have these conversations where we disagree on things, because my thing was, but they do have people who they had told like their cousins when they were little, and there was, the mom like brushed it off. And so it's like there are instances of they were trying to like speak out. And I also think though, and I see where you're coming from. It's just hard because I think at that time in 1989, like even in the show talks about it, or the documentary, like, it was not talked about that men were sexually assaulted. Like, and they had asked, well, what if these were two girls up on the stand? What would you do?
And I think that's so valid. And I do think there's like some stuff with the family, but like the family definitely changed their tune once they hired the second defense attorney. That's my only thing, is like in the beginning they were talking about how the dad, Jose was his name, was such a great dad, such a good provider, like very intense and like controlling, but not that he was like sexually assaulting his own sons. And of course I don't know one way or the other, and I don't want to not believe victims of something. But I do, if you like look skeptically, and like the prosecution gave such a good argument in their last trial. But the defense attorney, what was her name?
I can't recall right now.
Leslie something.
Oh, yeah.
She had just won a case like right before she took the Mendez brothers case, doing the exact same defense, that the son was abused for years, and so he shot his dad in his sleep, and he did that. It's like, I can't remember the exact term, but it's basically like non-sequential self-defense, like just because the threat's out there right now. And I think there are definitely situations where that happens. It just, like their live-in maid didn't say anything was wrong. The like boat captain, when they went shark fishing the day before they were killed, was like, I was scared of those boys. They were scary. Like they were menacing. So I don't know. I have a
Did you watch the documentary?
No, I haven't watched the documentary.
So I would encourage you to watch the documentary. It's like an hour and a half, because I do think like this show, I mean, it's Hollywoodized, whatever. And so I think it gave a very good picture, but I think the documentary fills in a little bit of holes, like the fishing thing, because I think it was a little bit, some of it was glamorized a little bit. Yeah, of course, it's Hollywood. Like,
well, I probably should like do more research before I just
I think it's an interesting take that like I would have never thought about, because I'm like, oh no, like these poor guys. Like,
and if this did happen to them, that's terrible.
I will say, like, their I mean, I see why people didn't believe them, because their credibility, like there were so many things they were doing that did go against what they were saying. And I mean, there are recorded phone calls like in the prison, and they're talking about these things. So I can see where their credibility is lacking.
Shaky,
I don't know. Watch the documentary and then let me know. But then also, like, the documentary might be skewed too. So like there's so much research to do on it that I haven't done.
Well, I'm also just a naturally very skeptical person. So I think that's more where I sit. And it's like, the prosecution says it like anyone in this jury and like this courtroom could have been abused, but the difference is that none of us took shotguns and like brutally. I think the the murder itself and then also how they reacted afterwards. I think that is what kind of like
turned everybody off.
Yeah, I'm just like, and like they went to the movies and went out to dinner afterwards to like cover their tracks. Like it was very calculated. I think that's kind of the difference of like a not premeditated like self-defense situation. Like it just feels a little strange, but I don't know. I'm not. I haven't been in that situation, so I don't know what that would be like if that's the truth. But I
will say, I think, you know, regardless of what happened, like their prison records are very, very clean. They've like done all of these like reform programs or whatever.
Yeah.
They've done so much in prison where it's basically been like spotless, and people are saying like they are safe to go back out into the world.
Right.
I don't know.
And I can agree with that. I mean, I don't really. Let me just say something more controversial, because why not? I think if you're going to give someone life without the possibility of parole, you might as well put them to death, because what?
Yeah. They're never getting out.
What a miserable existence, waste of resources. Like to me, I'm like, if that's, and it's great, maybe they'll be exonerated in some way, but like, what is the point of them doing well in society, in prison, in anything? Because there's no sort of rehabilitation. So it's like you kind of have to go, to me, full throttle either way. Either you're going to rehabilitate people that are in prison, which I believe in for the most part, or you're not, and they're just not going to be released.
Yeah.
I don't know, but
interesting takes.
You know me, I'm a harsh taker, so feel free to argue with me. I don't care.
Leave it in the comments.
Yeah, type in the comments. Yeah, no, that's my personal opinion.
Yeah.
But I do think, I mean, they have been in prison for 35 years, and a crime they committed, the younger brother, when he was 18, and that's.
The actor who played him is so precious. I'm like,
so
oh
cute.
my gosh. Like, and I think too, having actors like portray them makes them so much more sympathetic as well. Of like these actors that like really nailed down. Like,
they did such a good job. They were really good.
Yeah.
But I do find it interesting. I feel like we are basically the actors, because the one guy that played the younger brother is really sympathetic to the Menendez brothers. He's met Eric Menendez, who he played in the show.
He went and visited him in prison.
Visited him. He's working on initiatives with him. And the one that played Lyle, the older brother, wants nothing to do with them.
Yeah.
And he like said it on Good Morning America or something. He's like, I think it's best to leave these things separate. And like, I'm not interested in speaking to Lyle. And I'm like, oh, interesting. What do you know? But I think the older brother was way more crazy than the younger brother.
Yes, I think the younger brother was very impressionable. And I do believe he was molested and raped by his father, and so I think that he was very impressionable by anyone, and I think he was going to listen to his older brother because he was scared.
Yes.
And you know, all of those things. So yeah, that was a really good documentary. And then I also finished Love is Blind. And Matt, now every reference that he says, it's a Love is Blind reference, but like you guys haven't seen it. So he's saying all this crazy shit, and he's
last night,
oh, icky Nick, and I'm like, babe, they don't know what that means.
I kept throwing shit out like that. I was like, what? What's going on here?
Like, he was joking with me, but like what he said kind of sounded rude, and I was like, Matt, they don't know what you're talking about because they haven't watched Love is Blind. They don't get the reference of you saying.
He's just really proud of his references.
He was trying to reference Hannah talking to Nick, and if you've watched Love is Blind, it's just so funny.
He kept throwing out Love is Blind references, and I enjoy and appreciate that Matt's part of the lore, but also, Matt, shut up.
Like, we don't get the lore. No, like y'all haven't watched it.
An inside joke that I'm outside of.
Well, I don't like that.
Oh, we never finished saying what we did last night, though. So we ate dinner. We gave the kids a bath. We set up like a little fort for them. They were being so
cute.
Precious.
So cute.
Watching a movie for the most part. Yeah. Like, they did pretty well. We played Phase 10.
We got to play a whole game.
We played a card game.
Winning.
Connor smoked us.
Yeah, and then it got late, and Connor, I was like, okay, let's keep going. Like, let's do another round. And Connor was like, well, not all of us took a nap. And I'm like, well, sorry.
Yeah,
you get up at 5 in the morning and like don't nap.
He gets up at 5 in the morning by choice.
Yeah.
Get a grip, but he was getting sleepy.
So
he was being a little grouchy. And then we ended up staying up till 2 a.m. watching that movie, and I was like,
yeah, like, were you really tired?
Were you really being a grouch, or you were just tired of playing Phase 10?
Yeah.
But
no, that was really fun. It reminds
cards.
me that doing interactive things, like, it's just so fun. It's just sometimes it like takes me a minute to like get the motivation to like get up off the couch.
Well, because it's so much easier to sit there and all of us do independent things on our phones and like watch TikToks or whatever.
Yeah.
And we're all in the same room, so we're kind of spending time together. But like I know playing card games to me is like one of the most wholesome things you can do with a group. Like I just enjoy, and like Connor's family is really good about that.
So it was just so fun. I really enjoyed like getting to do that.
What's so nice about that is that you can do it 2-player. Connor and I just sit on the couch and play it sometimes.
Yeah. That's nice.
And my parents do that all the time. But yeah, it's fun to do something that's not, and you can like, kind of get your aggression out.
Yeah, exactly. We all let our competitive sides show, and
Connor will be like, "You bitch!" Like whenever I lay something down, it's so funny. Like that's the only time you get that pass.
Yes.
but yeah, no, we had fun doing that, and then lived our lives. I went to a soccer game this morning. Gargy pargy weekend.
I feel like this was a good episode just to like catch everybody up on our lives.
On the
I hope you're interested in catching up on our lives, because we just talked about it for probably, I'm going to guess 40 minutes. What's your guess?
40 minutes feels right.
Yeah, I feel like we talked about 40 minutes.
Did you have any mom trauma to add?
I was trying to think of it before we did, and you joked that it was Addie falling on the soccer field today. And you know what? She busted face.
I was going to say she didn't fall. She ate ground.
She ate the ground.
She it was one of those body slams on her front where it knocked the wind out of her.
Well, and I mean, she was like all red, like on her legs and everything, and she did cry. But then I went over there and talked to her, and like she toughened back up.
She recovered.
She got back out there. I was so proud of her. So I guess it's like a mom win too, because like seeing her. I think soccer has really built a lot of character for her, and a lot of like it's shown us her competitive side, but also like I don't know. I love how much soccer has benefited her.
Like, grow.
Yes.
Well, and I will say, like, I was so impressed by you and Matt, because my initial reaction was to run out on the field because I'm like, my baby just fell. Like, I gotta go get her. And y'all stayed on the side, very composed
until the coach
was like, "Hey, come over here."
Yeah, he like kind of nodded at us, and then I went ahead and went over, because the parents don't go on that side. So, and I play by the rules. I'm like, I don't know.
No, but I think it was a good like.
I gave her a minute to like kind of handle it on her own.
And I think that was a really good exercise for both of you. Like for me, that would. I am gonna. Fieldy's not in organized activities yet, but when he does,
don't you knock down my baby. You're talking to a 4-year-old screaming at them.
No, if anyone's gonna get in a fight with another parent, it is me.
Literally.
Let's call a spade a spade. But yeah, no, it was. She did so great.
Yeah,
she was good. She recovered, and she kept playing, and that's like
I know.
And now she gets to play another game that you didn't even know about.
We'll have to re-celebrate next week.
Well, my mom trauma as of late, yawn, is kind of a same thing, kind of a win, but kind of terrible. Fielding has been exuding empathy lately at a crazy rate.
Yeah.
He is my little empathetic angel, but like it has taken a turn to where I'm like, buddy,
because for anything sad that comes up on the TV,
it's the TV right now. So anytime a character is in any sort of slight peril. And I mean,
and he recognizes it.
Yes, like he gets so. Courtney was watching him last night do it. And she's like, how does he understand?
He was watching, and it was just this cartoon. I don't even know. Bolt. And the mom, someone was on a stretcher, getting loaded into an ambulance, but like,
and they were fine,
they're not like dead or anything. It's a cartoon. Yeah. Like they're on the stretcher, and
they're like smiling and like
he's like
doing a thumbs up.
Like,
y'all,
devastated,
sobbing. He was watching Sonic Prime, which is this weird B-rated TV show on Netflix, and it's a TV show, so there's always a climax of a TV show, and it's usually Sonic gets captured. We had to turn it off the other day because he was just sobbing every time Sonic was in trouble. I was like, we can't live like this. And like, I mean, little things like even Up at the beginning when
that is sad. But
like, how does he
recognize it? I know,
he's never been to a funeral.
Incredible.
He doesn't know what a coffin is.
Yeah.
Anytime or a character sad on screen, like,
well, and a lot of time, like with Up, like it alludes to the wife passing away. It doesn't straight out say it. It inferences that happen, and so like I'm like, he's 2 and making inferencing already. Like what that he can draw those conclusions.
It's really like it's impressive emotionally, and of course, I look for any excuse to say that my son's exceptional at something, but yeah, he really is like showing such an alarming amount of empathy that I'm kind of exhausted right now.
Yeah. Understandable.
Get it together.
Understandable.
But also my win is that we started speech therapy, and I don't know if I talked about that. So we started speech therapy again. Courtney read over Fielding's report yesterday, and was
I like to nerd out about it.
Yes, my little special education teacher. So she, assured me that Fielding was not gonna die or anything, but. No. He is behind in talking for sure, but I'm just glad.
That's why you're getting him the help.
Yeah. We're doing that. I mean, is it working? Who knows?
Yes, because he is slowly saying more, like the fact that he will answer yes to
now. He started answering
like
yes.
That. Those are the little pieces of evidence you need to be looking for.
I know. It's just so funny because in speech therapy, like they literally just sit and play next to each other, and like the speech therapist is like, Fielding, look, car, the car goes, like doing the speech therapy things, and Fielding like just ignores her.
But it's funny because it must be he's listening.
I know.
He's just going to pretend like he's not. He's going to pretend like he's not.
Yes, well, shut up. He listens
but
to everything.
It's like it makes you I'm sure it helps like make you feel like it's worth your time and your money.
Oh yeah,
to go, even though he doesn't feel like it during the session.
No, and he is getting better. It's just funny, like, and the first week he went to speech therapy again, that's when he started saying yes.
Yeah.
And it was started because he was yelling at us about what to turn on TV. No. And then I was like, do you want this? Yes. And I'm like, thank God. Like,
finally, you're making my life easier. Yes.
And then when Courtney took him to Walmart, he came home and I said, did you get a cool car from Walmart? And he said, yes. His little list was so cute. So he's doing better. But
that's for sure a win.
It's always hard to like admit there's any sort of like deficit with your kids. I think I feel for people that have like kids with really maybe extreme like birth defects or what. It's just this is minor in the scope of life, but it still is hard for me, I think, as a parent to be like, oh, there is something that's not normal or not right or delayed or whatever it is.
Because in your eyes, like he's always going to be perfect. Right. But it's hard for you to be like, oh, like there is like a problem, something that we need to fix.
Right, exactly. So, I mean, it is good, but I definitely will say like I'm eating my slice of humble pie because I thought I was going to have a kid that talked a mile a minute, and he's Connor. I gave birth to my husband.
Well, and like Tucker, I mean, he's slowly getting there, but it's like it's taking so much to like get him, and it's just and when you have two kids, it's hard. And anyone who tells you like, oh, I don't compare, they must be a liar, because it's hard not to. And it's not like, oh, Addie, blah, blah, blah. It's more or less, we look at videos of Addie at this age. And I mean, she was talking like full freaking stories, full sentences. But she also talked a lot sooner. So it is hard not to compare and just go, okay, like we're aware of, she was an early talker, but like, what do we need to
Tucker
do for
might be a little
so like
slower.
We're just like keeping an eye on his speech right now. But then he can say words like football.
I know, he says football.
I'm like,
so cute.
It's so cute.
Matt does this popcorn song with them, which I think is Matt like made the song up.
He did, because my kids are obsessed with popcorn, and so he gets mad while he's waiting for it to pop. So Matt made up the song.
And he says, "Do the popcorn dance, pop." Pop, and Tucker walks around, jumping around, pop, 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 pop. It's so cute.
It is so cute.
Tucker's better at mimicking, but yeah, it'll be interesting to see.
I know.
What got me, and if you have a kid under 2, then I'm sorry to put this in your head, but what got me was someone was like, okay, the 2-year milestone is 50 words. Does Fielding say 50 words? I was like, no, he doesn't say 50. What if 2-year-old says 50 words? And I was like, all the other 2-year-olds say. I was like, no,
that's
couldn't be me. And then I see it with like his classmates and stuff. I'm like,
yeah, but I mean, it's also a reminder that all kids just develop at different rates. Sure. But it is hard. Because I am so by the book. It is hard not to go by those milestone things. I did that a lot with Addie. I check there was an app like, is she meeting the milestones? And now with Tucker, I'm just so busy, I don't. But I'm still like keenly aware that we're keeping an eye on.
But kids are also just going to be who they are.
Exactly. Well, and Tucker is just like, I always say, like, he chooses his words. Like, he isn't going to go around and blabber anything. Like, he's very thoughtful about what he says. Yes. And it's so funny to me because that is indicative of his personality and that's just how he's going to be when he gets older too.
Fielding
I can
also
already see it.
Chooses his words, and that word is usually no.
Or the occasional shit.
Yes.
I'm like, Fielding, you're not gonna say anything else, but you're gonna say shit.
Literally, we got Uber Eats delivered the other day, and he was excited. And Connor's like, Emily, because he was going, oh shit, oh shit. I'm like, bro, come on. But then that's I was telling you, Fielding's so weird because he just like throws out random like long words and phrases. So like,
he said chocolate, right?
He said chocolate.
He doesn't even like chocolate.
No,
Why are you saying the word chocolate?
The reason he said it was because he said no chocolate. Because he didn't want it. I know. I'm like, you're freaking kidding me. It's taken you almost 3 years to say yes, but you're going to say chocolate and say it as if he said it before.
Make it make sense.
No. And then we were at the dentist the other day. I took him to the dentist for the first time this week. And the Moana was playing and You're Welcome was playing. And he turned and looked at Connor and I, You're welcome. Excuse me?
That's so his personality,
I know, I'm like,
though. He's going to prove you wrong. He's like, you're spending this money on speech therapy, but guess what? I already know these words.
English. Yeah, asshole. Whatever. It's fine.
So funny.
Well, do we have anything else to talk about?
I don't think so. I feel good.
I feel cleansed.
Yeah.
I feel purified. I also have to pee so bad. That's like kind of the time marker for me with podcasting is like, when do I have to
time
pee
is
super
up.
bad?
We gotta pee.
Every time we finish
we both run to an opposite bathroom. Like we're like cockroaches scurrying, whenever you like.
I mean, I'd rather not compare myself to a cockroach, but yeah, turtly. A cockroach.
Well, we plan to hopefully be back next week. So, but only
TBD.
time will tell.
We should be.
I know.
We may have to record on
really
Saturday
enjoy.
morning or
I
something.
really enjoy doing this. It's just sometimes it's like getting into the
Scheduling.
mode and scheduling it. So
valid. I am determined though. We are bringing the podcast equipment to Broken Bone. We are recording from there.
Okay, I'm so down. Let's do it. That would be so easy.
Well, yeah, we would just want to bring our stands. We'll just bring our mics, and our computer and sound, whatever. But that way, because the Fielding's like pressing his hands up to the door. But yeah, the vibes there, y'all are gonna be upset. Y'all aren't gonna want us to come back to the studio.
We're gonna do it on the back porch.
Oh my god, stop.
Yes, and we're gonna be wrapped up in our cozies.
Let's get matching pajamas. Let's get matching pajamas for everybody.
Love it. Ah!
Okay, we gotta go. We gotta go
shop Old Navy.
Okay.
All right. On that note,
okay.
Love y'all. Bye.
See ya. Mwah.